Hi, everyone, and welcome to Fashion Decipher. My name is Sean Williams, and this episode, we are really going to be talking about sneakers, and I'm really excited about that because I'm trying to be a sneakerhead myself. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm like entry. We're going to be talking about sneaker culture, and we're going to talk about reselling, and all things related to sneakers. Today, we have Ian Higginson from Lucky Lace, the sneaker shop owner. Ian, how are you?
I'm pretty well. I'm excited for this. I was looking forward to this for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad that we finally got a chance to get this started. But I'm doing pretty well. The weather's nice, so that's a plus. So that puts me in better spirits.
Absolutely. So I wouldn't say like Ian, sneaker culture is just a crazy phenomenon. And you and I both know this, Kevin as well. We all know this, that it started years ago when Michael Jordan came out with his sneakers and the whole advertising of wanting to be like Mike. And then of course, hip hop, where you add Run DMC with Adidas and Shell Toes, and this idea of so many inner city Black children, minority children who wanted to emulate those figures started to buy the sneakers because if they couldn't be like them any other way, they wanted to look like them. And that was a way for them to attain something close to those idols that they had. So, we came up with this term of being Black cool, which now has spread to the mainstream. And that's what Black culture does. But, of course, we don't see really any profits in return. We don't really get to be at the top tier when it comes to sneaker selling or sneaker exchanges of anything in that form. So today, Ian, I really want to talk to you about some of these things, like, and how did you become a sneaker shop owner? Like, what was your motivation of getting there? Like, how did you get to this part to coming up with Lucky Laced?
Okay, well, I agree with you with everything you said as well. It's a sad truth, but hopefully one day that can change. But I've always been a sneakerhead. It started years ago. All right, so I'm 30. It started before I could even walk. My dad, he got me into it, and as I got older, he really stressed the importance of keeping your appearance up to par. And first impression is everything. And it never was about having $400 or $500 sneakers. It was just looking good, keeping your sneakers fresh, and cleanliness. And it's something about it. It just intrigued me, and I like to always look good, and even going outside, and people would literally just wait to see what sneakers I had on today. Even going back to school, junior high school, and elementary, me and my friends, we would just kind of compete with each other to see what sneakers we had on for gym day, because I went to Catholic school, so I had to wear shoes 4 days out of the week. But that fifth day, we tried to come out with our best, and it's something that just attached to me, and it grew as I got older,
Mm-hmm.
and it stuck with me.
And like, Ian, what was your like most coveted sneaker growing up? Like, what was the thing that you were like, you looked at those sneakers, were like, oh, that's it. Like, what was that sneaker for you?
Hmm. It would definitely have to be the Iverson, the
Mhm.
questions.
Okay.
That's I'm a little biased, but that's my favorite player of all time. But that was a shoe that it didn't matter what color came out, I had to get it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like I knew I wasn't going to the NBA, but I kind of felt like him.
Exactly. I
I
totally
love his
understand that.
shoe, so that was a must, absolute must.
All right. So, so I guess from that love of sneakers and growing up and your dad teaching you about like cleanliness and like your appearance and presenting your best self when you impress someone you meet them for the first time, was that the thing that got you into wanting to own a retail shop? Like, what was the thing that actually transitioned when you had to pick a career and you were like, I want to own a sneaker shop? Was that the reason?
It wasn't. It started. Well, the mind first came. Well, the thought first crossed my mind back in, I want to say, 2004
Mm-hmm.
or five, when I was in high school. I was probably a freshman, or sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I went to college school literally from pre-K to 12th grade. So wearing sneakers was not really allowed, but we would get away with it if you wear like all black shoes, where the principal really couldn't tell or teachers couldn't tell. So it was 2004 or 5. I had the Retro 10. They were all black, and this shoe, pretty much everyone had them. And of course, like every release, there are a lot of people that missed out on them. So I will wear them to school here and there. And one of my classmates, he asked me. I never forget his name was Jeremiah, and I think we were like we were classmates and we were locker mates. So he said, Ian, do you want to sell me your sneakers? And I looked at him and said, no, I would. He said, why would you want to buy them? He's like, no,
Hmm.
I know you're not. I know you're not a dirty person. I'm like, yeah, you have a point, but I want to keep on in mind. And
Right.
he was persistent. He kept asking me. And then one day I was like, you know what? Fine. I don't even know how much I told them, but I'm pretty sure I made my money back. And that was at the age of 14 or 15, and that stuck in my head. I'm like, wow, if I can make money off of you sneakers, I just need to find a way to get some brand new ones. So at a good price. And it stuck in my head. But fast forward, it was back when I was in college. I was a freshman. I was transferring colleges, and it was the summer of 2010, and I was waiting to get accepted to a college. So I was kind of bored, I was staying at home, and I found, I guess you could say, a quote unquote connect for sneakers, and I tested the waters. I purchased 4 pairs of shoes, two foam posits at the time they were popular, and 2 pair of Jordans, and I think I sold them within a week.
Mm.
And I didn't get too excited. I was just like, wow, I might be on something. But I wasn't really putting all my eggs in one basket because I was still focused at school at the time. And that's when it really started to hit me. And I was like, maybe, I could take this a little further. I always loved the idea of being an entrepreneur. So when I was younger, I would always do things like, little chores around the house. But when my complex, they would host like black party days and whatnot, but then you could have a table and bring out things to sell. So I would get little things that kids would like even I'm not too sure pretty sure you do, but the pop snappers that you throw towards the
Hmm.
ground and pop. So, I would go, me and my mom, I would get a box wholesale and then sell them. And I would get other things that I know kids, Pokemon cards at the time. So I always loved the feeling of making my own money, being an entrepreneur, but I just didn't know what field it would be until, I found one of my sources for shoes, authentic shoes. And that's when I really wanted to run with it.
That's dope. Like, and Ian, what has your experience been like being a black sneaker shop owner and in an industry where people of color, POCs, don't really have the representation that they should, especially when we promote what actually makes what sneakers hot. Like, how's your experience have been in the sneaker industry?
It has been definitely a great learning experience. It can be really, really tough. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to sugarcoat anything for anyone that will hear this and want to jump into the game and they're of color. It is hard. It is rough. You definitely need to have a strong mindset. Uh, you definitely need to have a team behind you. Um, and the team, it doesn't have whether the team can help you source new sneakers and high beast apparel such as like Supreme and whatnot, or just be there to support you emotionally and mentally, because I did it on my own. And I had, thank God I had my mom and dad behind me supporting me when I needed to just, vent and just get opinions. But at the end of the day, I'm the sole owner. So when you have to handle shipping and customer service and, social media and the buying, the merchandising, it's like, whoa, so I say definitely have a team. It's definitely a beautiful experience. Of course, we have to work a little harder to get ahead because, sometimes we
Right.
might not have the capital or have the access to capital, have access to, a great lawyer or, you know, the great credit because maybe we wasn't taught this in school or within a household. So sometimes we are behind, but definitely work a little harder and it'll definitely pay off. And definitely be kind to people and treat people how you want to be treated.
Right, right. And do you have any issues when it comes to like sourcing your sneakers or finding wholesalers, even when you were developing your shop? Like, was there issues being a person of color? Is any of those things interfere with getting things done? Did you find any resistance at all?
I haven't. The most beautiful thing about the sneaker culture, I would say, is that it glues everyone together from all different walks of life.
Right.
So people really could care less about, your color, your religious background, anything. I can care less. We
Mhm.
have one common love, which is shoes, which is the culture. So we, learn to respect one another. And it really wasn't a problem because when I opened the store in 2016, I was already doing this from 2010. So I had a lot of sources, a lot of connects to get access to, shoes, whether it was retro shoes or OG, like I have OG Jordans from 94, 96. That's never been
Wow.
worn since when it first came out. So I really kept in touch with everyone, and even if it wasn't sneakers dropping or releasing, I would still keep in contact. Holiday time, I shoot them an email, hey, happy holidays, hope all is well. Little things like that will take you a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I opened the store, I had a lot of um connects, and it grew as the store, flourished because so many people will come in and say, hey, listen, I work here, such and such. And matter prime example, the other day, so the Mocha ones they released last weekend, and it's been chaos. I managed to get a few pairs, but as I was buying some pairs from a girl, she told me, "Hey, I work in foot action. We may get more. I'll keep you posted." So
Mm-hmm.
just offer, and I met her through a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So just me being, good to that friend introduced me to that girl, which allowed me to purchase a shoe and gain a new customer once I sold it. So
Right.
little things like that, like you never know when you'll meet a new, possible source or connection.
Yeah, so the networking is absolutely important when it comes to being in the sneaker field, huh? Like just making sure you make connections all across, like just keeping the
Yes.
networking options open. I wish I knew that more in college, Ian, when I was in college.
Yeah. See, that's the thing
Nobody
they don't
told
teach
me.
us. They don't teach us this. It's
Yeah,
sad.
it's sad. Like I understood the value, and I know it's a little off topic, but I understood the value of getting a job and working while you're in college. But no one stressed how important networking was while you were in college. So for all the kids who are teenagers listening to this episode, and you're either heading to college or you're already in college and you're young adults, I would definitely suggest network, network, network. I cannot stress that enough. And it's not just like getting a name and saying hi, but also following up. Consistently keep those networking avenues open. But that's
Definitely,
that.
that's true.
But let me
Definitely.
ask you, like, Ian, what do you think of all these online retailers now? I mean, like, we live in a COVID world right now, where most people are not shopping in stores and brick and mortar stores. But like, what do you think of all these like resale stores? I mean, like Fight Club and Stadium Goods have always been around, but like the rise of StockX, like, what do you think of? Does that hinder your business in any way? Does it help you? Does it, add to the sneaker craze?
Okay, so like most resellers, we kind of have a love-hate relationship with StockX. Well, some of us have a love-hate relationship with StockX, and some just have a hate relationship with StockX. And StockX, I'm not here to slander them, but just based on my personal experience, they can be a gift and a curse. Especially during a COVID situation where, sometimes you would sell things and your payout took over a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I was really dependent upon this, I'm not rich, but if I was really dependent on those sales through StockX, I would be hurting because I get that they're taking precautionary measures to ensure the safety of their staff, but over a month to release money from sales to someone, is kind of crazy, especially someone that's been a consistent seller on StockX. And it's not just me. So many people have horror stories with them, and I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. It's due to COVID, but it can also be a blessing because, okay, let's say if I have an off-white 97 MX 97, right, and let's say it's average price right now, resale price is 850. You go on Flight Club, it might be 1100. You go on Stadium Goods, it might be 1200. Now, being that I own my own shop, I want to build my own brand. I don't want to sell, consign. So most resellers, not most, but a lot of resellers, they'll just get a shoe or shoes and they'll take them right to Flight Club or Stadium Goods, just so they can sell for them, or even myself. But me, I'm determined to get the shoe sold on my own. So when people see that shoe, they touch the waters, they look at Flight Club, they look at Stadium Goods. But now with StockX in the game, they look at StockX and say, "Oh wow, it's 750." So now people, the buyer, potential buyer, already eliminated Flight Club and Stadium Goods because they're charging way more.
Right.
So now they go to StockX and see 750. Meanwhile, I'm asking 850. So now, of course, there are people. I don't blame them for wanting to save their money and save a few bucks, but they'll come to me and say, "Hey, listen, it's 750 on StockX. You charging 850. Can you match StockX price?" And I'm just like, "Oh man, well, unfortunately, I can't because StockX, they don't own the items they sell. They're really the middleman. So in a way, StockX hinders resellers and sneaker boutiques and some shops in that sense because people they're now they try to bargain and cross reference your price to StockX. But on the other hand, it's a blessing because that same shoe that may be worth 850. The average based on your clientele, like I have my clientele is people that want the hype stuff like off whites, and then there's people that might want a simple pair of New Balance. Now, I know that shoe that's worth $850. If I post it on, just my personal social media, the average person is not gonna buy that. So now it's like, okay, I could cut out the negotiations with someone that potentially wants it. I could cut out the false hope of selling it to people that I know they're not gonna spend $800 on a shoe, and I could just say, "Hey, StockX, I'll put it on StockX and sell it and get my money in a few days." So that's the blessing of it. So it's like a give and take.
Yeah, I heard. I know eBay is a place that people sell sneakers too, and they have a new service. They're gonna authenticate sneakers. Are you for that or against that?
Yeah, I actually got that email, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm considering it. Uh, I think it's about time that they implemented that service because even looking on eBay. So when I shop all places to get new inventory. So eBay is one place I might shop, and the amount of fakes I see is ridiculous. Like
Wow.
obvious fakes. It's not even people trying to blend in top quality fakes with real. It's just I've witnessed sneakers that most Jordan ones they come with extra laces. I witnessed the shattered backboard 3.0s. I have some pairs, but I was looking for more pairs, and I saw a pair that came with 3 extra set of laces, and they only come with one.
One.
So it's scary for someone that might not know. You have to think of holiday time is coming up, and unfortunately that's when people get scammed the most, especially in the sneaker culture. You have moms, pops, just family members or significant others purchase a shoe for someone that they love or care about for holidays, and they get scammed left and right. So I'm glad they actually they're implementing that feature, and I definitely will try to list some things on eBay. But before that, I stopped dealing with eBay because of even sellers were getting scammed because a lot of people don't know PayPal is owned by eBay.
Yes, they always
So
force you to get that too. Yeah.
exactly, most people forget that. So I've heard horror stories from people where they might have sold a brand new off-white Jordan collab, and the buyer would take a picture with rocks in the shoebox and say, "Hey, they sent me this," and
Yes.
literally refund the buyer and they keep the shoe. So for that
Hmm.
reason, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna deal with that. I can't afford to take any loss, especially not a loss like that. So I think
Hmm.
with that feature, I think eBay will, they'll give us some time to be one of the top dogs as far as buying and selling.
I do like speaking of just buying sneakers, as you said, they had the Mocha release, which was crazy. And you have all these great releases, but it seems like for the average person, the only way you have a chance is if you get like a sneaker bot. Like, what's your opinion on sneaker bots in general? Like, is there still a way for the average person to cop a pair of sneakers, or you have to go and buy bots now? Is that like the way?
Um, yes. So to piggyback what you said, sneaker bots it's a computer program where it checks out as many pairs as you allow it to in a matter of seconds. So by the time like a mom or dad is entering their credit card information manually, that shoe is sold out by the time they press checkout. And it is a headache. It is a pain. I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard about bots, I was frustrated. I hated them, and I was just devastated because now it's like you have to adapt. If you can't join them, beat them.
Hmm.
And at first I had bots, um, but now they're so intricate where I don't even have the time and the patience to actually sit down and manage one.
Hmm.
But I do have friends, that run bots for me. And like I said, it's you have to, adapt to times, if you want to remain in the game. I don't solely depend on bots because I have other people that might work in Foot Locker, some managers and mom and pop stores that allow me to, backdoor. They may sell me a few pairs early ahead of time. So it's little different methods, but if you want to be a reseller, you definitely have to have a bot or have somebody with a bot. It sucks because it's taking away a fair chance of purchasing for the rest of people, but at the end of the day it's like, are you a businessman first, or hey, you can't really be sympathetic. It's sad to say, but if you want to, grow your brand and continue to have new customers and loyal customers, you have to adapt some way, somehow.
I hear you. I know last week when they came out, I love Air Max 97, so they had the Halloween ones that came out,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not trying to resell them. I just wanted to wear them, and I had everything loaded, credit card information, everything. When I tried to put them in my cart through sneakers, by the time I hit size 11 and a half and submit, I was getting kicked out. And then by the time it refreshed, it was like sold out. I was like, that's crazy. Like I didn't even stand a
Yeah,
chance.
it's frustrating, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. It'll be a pair where you think, okay, there's no way this is gonna sell out, and then it's like, wow, they're going. Literally, a sneaker will load at 10 o'clock, and 10:01, everything's done.
Yeah, I
Definitely
was
experienced
I was
that
telling
too.
Sean yesterday, 'cause I was on Adidas, not to hype different names on this podcast, but they had a collaboration with Star Wars, so they had these like look like a mint green sneakers that I really like. Sold out. They had like these Chewbacca ones, which I didn't like at all, but just sold out like crazy. Like it almost reminded me of back in the days when you would try to get concert tickets,
Yeah.
and depending on the show, if you didn't have a certain setup with your computer, you just wasn't getting tickets. Like you had to go straight to the broker to go see certain artists. So I wonder if sneakers are going to go the same way. 'Cause I believe with concerts, they passed certain legislation that kind of made it illegal to do certain things. I wonder if sneakers will actually do the same thing, kind of get rid of bots. So you think that's just something that's never going to get rid of at all?
I see some companies, they're implementing bot protection, like Supreme. Supreme lately, they have some good bot protection where they detect the bot, they'll block your IP address, or they might ban. Like I know people that where their addresses are banned, little things like that. But there's always a way around it. Unfortunately, like most companies, I think they don't care. They're all in it for the profit, and
Mhm.
that's it. They could care less who has a fair chance. They could care less,
Mhm.
who gets a shoe, who doesn't. It's like I want the fair chance in case, because not everything I purchase is for resale. I'm a collector first, so there's shoes where I'm like, wow, this is a must to add to my collection. But maybe that release or that shoe, because it's not hyped up or hyped up as much, my friends with the bots, they might not run the bots for that shoe.
Mm,
So now it's other people that have that have bots, but they're collectors and they want that shoe. Now I have to compete against them. So
right.
I have to compete manually, entering my information, you know, against them. So it's like I like bots when I'm reselling the clothes, but just collecting it's like, oh man, I'm up against bots. You really have to have luck on your side, honestly speaking, and super fast internet speed.
Let me ask you this, Ian. Like, I'm dying. I have to. I'm a big fan of Jordan fives. My sister got me into those, and then threes. I just bought a couple of threes last year. And then I bought one Jordan one. And here I am thinking, like, I was like, oh, I got a Jordan one, but it was like the satin pair. What and those shoes were abysmal with selling. Like on like I'm gonna say StockX, it was like $175, like original price. Like, what makes certain Jordan ones more valuable than other? Is it the material? Is it like all leather? Like, what makes some of them sell out? Is it not just a colorway? Do you have any advice on like what is better when it comes to buying like specifically Jordan ones?
Okay, so Jordan ones, that's one of my favorites as well. But when it comes to ones, there's a lot of variations that determine, the hype. First, even with Jordans in general, but specifically ones, you have to see if is it a collab. So if it is it a collab or a public figure attached to that shoe. Of course, besides Michael Jordan. So is it like an off-white collab or is Travis Scott name associated with it or DJ Khaled or Drake? That's one because in this game now, a lot of the young kids they're coming up in the game and they just want to buy anything to resell without really doing a homework on it, without researching. So it's some Jordans where if you're 25 and up, the kids that are younger, they don't even touch that shoe because they don't really know anything about it.
Right.
So they want to know if it's any names associated with that Jordan. The colorway is definitely key. Not all the time, but it's key. So if it's pretty much a Chicago Bull colorway, some way somehow mixed up with this, a little bit of red, black and white, or black and red, and whatever. That's always a good thing. Well, a great thing. Also, is it a high? Most people, well, I'm a sneaker lover, so I wear what I like. I'm not I'm not the type of person where it's like, oh, I don't wear Jordan mids, I don't wear Jordan lows. I prefer highs, but there are people that are like, oh, a high will sell the best over a mid, over a low. Don't get me wrong, there are lows and high and mids that sell for, a ton of money. But so it's any name associated with it, the colorway, uh, the quantity as well too. You know, it's, they like to associate the word limited with a lot of shoes, and sometimes it's not really limited. It's a mental thing. It's like a marketing ploy to get people to buy. Oh, it's limited. Meanwhile, that shoe will restock a week later, and they'll restock a month later, and they're like, oh, how limited is it if it keeps restocking? So you definitely try to have to get the insights of the numbers being released some way somehow. Like the Mocha ones, I had a little insight of how many pairs were being released. So with that information, I had 2 weeks in advance. I knew, okay, this is going to be a movie once the shoe releases. Even sometimes the packaging. Sometimes the packaging might be, it might be a special box, special tissue paper, or maybe a special hang tag, maybe 3, 4 extra pair of laces. That definitely plays a part in it.
I was going to ask you that because
Yeah, I
Kevin
would.
had, Kevin, I was just
Yeah.
about to say that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say no. What you hit on something with the pack. I'm very big into packaging, and
Me
I've
too.
noticed, like for example, Puma. They did some J. Cole sneakers. They actually did like a Super Mario, and the packaging on those sneakers was beautiful. Like the Super Mario box, it looked like a video game box, and even the tissue paper, everything was unique to Super Mario. And then on the J. Cole one, the box said Dreamer. It was very different, and nothing against other labels, but I've seen, for example, like Yeezy's packaging, and it's just so very plain, so
Yeah,
very nondescript. And I just wonder, like you take that Puma packaging, it makes you want to keep everything, like the sneaker, the
exactly.
box, everything. So I wonder who makes those decisions. And like you said, I think packaging is such a big thing. I mean, there'll be some consumers who don't care. They just want the sneaker out the box, kind of like a kid on Christmas. They don't care about the wrapping paper. They just want the gift. But I think there are some
Yeah.
consumers like myself who, you want everything to be a unique experience.
To me, I keep all my boxes. I know a lot of people like to clear containers, but to me, it's something about the boxes. Even if it's a plain box, I still keep it. It's just, I don't know. It's something about, I like to have original everything.
I did want to pick your brain about something just to go back where we're talking about like releasing. And me and Sean have spoke about this before. Like who benefits for limited sneakers? And I'll explain to you what I mean. Like, so Nike, say for example, they'll come out with a pair of Jordan ones. They're charging 170 a pair, and they only release 1,000. So Nike's only gonna make 170 times 1,000. Period. What motivates them to say not drop 200,000 pairs? People are still gonna buy them, and Nike as a company will make more money. Like, who benefits for having it limited other than say maybe resellers? Like what motivates a Nike or anyone to do a limited release where it doesn't affect their bottom line? They're losing money by just making a little bit of amount.
That's a great question. Of course, besides the resellers, I think that the companies, whether it's Nike or Adidas or Puma, I think it's maintaining their relevancy and keeping the buzz around the company and to be talked about and, trending on Twitter and trending on social media, because I guess that'll attract more customers or potential customers, and maybe that'll lead to other purchases. But yeah, I never understood, like if they know retro ones are super popular, why not release, 5 million pairs, But I think it's all about the clout and to stay relevant.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy. Like, you want to be a part of it. You want to be, speaking as a newbie, um, you want to be a part of it, and there's certain colorways you like and you just cannot get your hands on them. And it's, kind of, you said it best, Ian, when you said frustrating, as a consumer, when you're just collecting as a person, when you experience setbacks like that, trying to get the type of sneaker that you want. But the clout thing, I definitely agree with you. When you have so many sellers, like, I can't remember, Kev, you remember the name? Maybe you also know, Ian, that young kid from Florida. I can't think of his name. He sold all the like sneakers to all
Oh
the
yeah, I forgot
rappers.
his name. I forgot his. I know you're talking
Um,
about. Yeah.
Benjamin Kicks.
Yeah. You know, when you have situations like that and you see photos of like 60, 80 pairs of sneakers, you're like, okay, I just wanted one. Like you're like, why can I be a part of it? But like Ian, what do you think? Like Brooklyn Museum had an exhibit on the rise of sneaker culture back in like 2015. I don't know if you were able to catch that exhibit or not. And the exhibit explored like the history of culture importance of sneakers, and it went from the beginning all the way until the current time at 2015. Do you think exhibits like that are important to the sneaker culture? Just documenting like where it's been and where it's going. Do you think it also is beneficial to your business?
I think that is very beneficial. I love the whole idea of it because it's not really shedding light on reselling. Because some people, reselling, honestly, a lot of people is looked down upon, it's frowned upon. People, they look at us and say, "Oh wow, well, you're the reason why I can't get a pair. You're the reason why this shoe is selling for $600." Um, but I tell people at the end of the day, it's capitalism. This is what everything is marked up. It's economics, supply and demand. So I like exhibitions like that because it shows the other side. It shows the history. It shows how the shoe is made. It shows why this shoe has this colorway, or why the shoe got this nickname. So I definitely as well, and I was I felt like a kid in a candy store. It was amazing. And it shows how huge the sneaker culture has gotten, and it's acknowledged across the world now. So I definitely love things like that. And I think it does help.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it doesn't really shed light on reselling, but you can understand why things, are resold at, a higher amount. And it's beneficial because now people, they can come to me or come to my brand, come to my store and say, "Hey, I understand now." At first I thought, he was kind of like, you know, just a horrible person for marking up the sneakers so much, but
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I understand now. So I definitely love that idea, and I think there should be way more, exhibitions, after this whole, COVID situation is handled.
I do have a question for you, Ian. I was looking at I was on Nike earlier, and then every once in a while I might go to like their other country sites, like like Nike/China. Is there a
Hmm.
market for those colorways to come here? Like, is there any way? Because they'll release sneakers in other countries that they won't release here, and some of those sneakers are fire. But
Yes.
is there a way to get them here? Is there like a pipeline, or is just nah? That's just for China, and they're never coming here unless Nike decides to release them in America.
No, that's definitely not, it's definitely not the case. I have people in China as well. People in China are people in the UK. So, prime example, years ago, maybe 3 years ago, Air Max Plus TNs, which I love. It was an olive green colorway that only came out in the United Kingdom, and I have a source over there. His name is Tom, by the way, and I was literally ordering pairs. Every time he received this colorway, I purchased every pair, and they were selling. This was kid sizes, grade school, so 3.5 to 7, and they were selling for about $250 here. And he sent the EMS, and I was getting them, and I was literally the only, from what I know, I was literally the only store in New York City with that shoe. So not
Oh
even Flight Club
wow.
had it, Stadium Goods.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Even China, I had a shoe. All right, so for the last, I forgot how many years they started this, but for the last few years, Jordan brand has been releasing a Chinese New Year edition Jordan. And I met one of my close friends. When I first opened the store, he's a reseller as well. And he's one of my friends that runs the bot for me. And it was the Chinese New Year Retro 12s. They came up with a men's edition and a grade school edition, and I literally had them a month early. So I was literally like the first store with him early, and he did pre-orders and he couldn't get that size. And what happened was his girlfriend actually told him about me, well, about the store, and I met him through that day, and we've been close ever since. So there's definitely ways around, China releases only or UK releases only if you know someone. Another thing I forgot, which I never used, but you can definitely have reshippers. So you could order a shoe in UK or whoever, have it sent to a reshipper in that same country. And once it gets to them, they'll reship it to you. It's a fee. The prices vary, but that's definitely another loophole.
That's interesting. I never knew that. I mean, I'm sure there's avenues to get those things from overseas, but you never know how intricate those the processes are. Like you really are a resource, Ian, when it comes to that, because working in luxury retail as I've done for a very long time, the company does those things. You know what I mean? You don't know how they do it, but they do it to get some of the
Exactly.
items from Europe. So that's really interesting. I wanted to ask you, like, there's all the streaming services and everybody's been home because of COVID. Netflix has a new show called Sneakerheads, and Lena Waithe has a really good show, which I really think the Lena Waithe thing was good on Quigley, which is closing, called You Ain't Got These. Because she really goes into the psychological, founding on why people attach themselves to sneakers. But, in your opinion, whether you watch or not, do you think documentation like these, like deepen sneaker culture? Do you think that, just like with the exhibition, is it a better way for people to understand why people behave the way they do when it comes to sneaker releases, instead of people thinking that they're crazy? Do you think like that helps?
Definitely, I think it's a great thing. I haven't got the chance to sit down and watch it. I intend, but sometimes my days are just like so hectic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a beautiful thing. But like I said, more people will understand why. Not even the whole resale, but people understand why people go crazy. Like I sat down, I met like just having the store. I met so many, just beautiful people where we would sit down and just speak for hours. They will purchase things, but we would speak for hours, and even after that, they would come back and we would just speak and keep in touch. And a lot of people fail to realize that the main reason why people go crazy for some of these shoes is because they were broke, they were poor growing up. Now it's like this is the opportunity to get it. Oh, my mom and dad couldn't afford this when I was a kid, or we had to share shoes. So now I'm an adult, I make my own money, I make great money. Now I have the opportunity to get this. It's like completing their childhood, more or less. So reselling is about collecting and I guess, feeling someone complete.
Yeah. So like, okay, which I definitely suggest anyone, I mean, whenever, I know you're extremely busy, Ian, whenever you get a chance, definitely watch it, but I suggest anyone, while Quigley is still up, if you have access to it, to watch. I think Quigley closes like the first week of December, I think
Yeah,
Kevin was telling
December
me.
1st. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You were telling me that. Definitely that document. I really hope, like, they have someone, and this is a sidebar, to buy that, some of the shows on there so people can watch it elsewhere. Cause that really, Lena did a good job with that. But I want to ask this, like, with all the sneaker collaborations you had mentioned earlier, about it depends on like who's, collabing with whom and what brand. They have had so many popular sneaker releases. What collabs do you think was the best? Like, who do you think, sold the best sneaker, had the best look? And what collabs do you think didn't do so well?
Of this year?
Just in general, like, if do you have like a top five, or, top 10 or something?
Um, hmm.
It's hard, right?
All right. So in general, we not just speaking on Nike, just in general.
And just
Just
in
yeah,
general.
overall.
Okay. I I definitely had to take my hat off to Virgil.
Mm,
I have to because he just pretty much any shoe he collab with, as far as like Nike, it just is ridiculous. And the thing is, his designs are so simple,
yeah.
but it's unique, and so it's like, wow, I'm putting air in quotation marks, and I'm not trying to play his design, but it's like I'm putting the air in quotation marks, and it changes the whole look of a shoe. That same silhouette that been around for years is now completely different.
Mm.
Put a hang tag, quotation marks, and air, and boom. I definitely want to say he had a bunch of collabs, but him, definitely got to say Travis Scott, and of course I love as many people might love and hate him, but definitely Kanye.
He changed a lot when it comes to Adidas.
Yeah, he definitely has. He changed it. Honestly, I know Adidas been around for years and they're classic. They're known for the shell toes, Run DMC, but in my opinion, he saved Adidas. He saved them. I mean, I'm not saying that they were about to go out of business or anything, but he saved them.
Right, the perception, like how people view Adidas. Because I think
Exactly.
Adidas and Pumas, I think Kevin, you and I talked about this. At one
Yeah.
point, they were like in Marshalls, TJ Maxx type of sneaker. Like people didn't
Yeah,
look at it like, oh, I'm going to Foot Locker to buy Adidas, or I'm going to Foot Action. You know what I
exactly.
mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't, that wasn't the thing. You went to like secondary type of shopping or discount shopping, and that's where you found Pumas. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So those three, I know I might be. Even well, I can't forget about Don C.
Mm.
Some of his collabs really weren't the best, but they definitely brung some spunk to a lot of these companies. So, well, matter of fact, it's crazy because they're all friends. Well, I don't. Well, from the story I heard, Kanye West he's really responsible for putting on Virgil and Don C because they're all from Chicago.
Yeah, I read that too.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, those four, including Travis Scott, their collabs are definitely, making some buzz, making a lot of buzz.
And who, Ian, do you think would be a good collab, like in the future? Like, who do you think right now is like really hot and actually has like a great brand behind them that you could see like a sneaker company approach them? I know Kevin mentioned like J. Cole had his collab with Puma. But like, who do you think in the future, like people, like maybe sneaker companies are sleeping on, and who could they work with?
Hmm, that is a great question. I'm only going to blink as far as the artists that, because a lot of artists have some type of shoe deals, but a lot of people forget.
Yeah,
Because I would have said Drake, but he has Jordan.
yeah.
Um, can't say Pusha T because he has a deal. Uh,
So
wow.
it's not many, right?
Yeah, it's not many that's really worth it because of course you and not anyone's gonna get a collab. So
Hmm.
that's a great question. I really don't have an answer for that one.
I feel like people should, Kevin and I are big fans. I mean, he put me onto Griselda. Like, I feel like they're a group
Okay.
that all three of them, honestly, they should have some sort of branding. They don't have anything, do they, when it comes to sneakers?
Not that I know of.
No,
Maybe
not that I know
if
of.
anybody, maybe West Side Mike was somebody I don't know of though.
Yeah, I
Mm.
just feel like they're like a powerhouse right now.
You know how like how Jordan is like for our generation, like Jordan is just the epitome of sneakers. Do you think LeBron or Kyrie, like the players of this era, would have that type of lasting power? Like maybe 20 years from now, people will be talking about LeBron's the way we talk about Jordan. So, or is there any player you see right now who could have that type of impact the way Jordan had on sneakers?
I was thinking about that the other day, and honestly, no, I don't think anyone will.
Mm,
It's not. There's no one with the shoe that comes close to Jordan's, and I say that because of course all right. So when it comes to you have Kyrie's, you have KD's, you have LeBron's.
yeah.
The earlier models were the best. After a certain
Mm,
number, it just fell off the cliff, and the designs were horrible. And now you see LeBron's, Kyrie's, KD's on sale, sitting on the shelves. And I'm not saying that to say all Jordans, sell out and don't um don't go on sale. But honestly, most Jordans, I mean, I'm not biased, but honestly, I'm older. So if you ask a kid that's 18 years old, they might say I only love ones, threes, and 11s. I literally not all Jordans are you know easy on the eye. Maybe when it comes to like the 17s, but they're classics. So if there's some like LeBrons, KDs, and tools that after maybe the fourth model, no one's absolutely putting their foot in. Unless they're playing ball.
Right.
So I really don't see unless the only way it can happen is if the designers they get new designers or better designers or just improve their designs. And if they do, of course, the only one that could come close would be LeBron, I would say,
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
or the
I,
Kobe's. The designs are not the best.
when we came up, like I know you mentioned, for example, you was a big fan of the Iversons, Reeboks. Anytime an athlete kind of went away from Nike, it kind of felt like they was taking a chance. And we've
Yeah.
seen that recently, like with Steph Curry with Under Armour. How do you feel about like athletes like Steph Curry doing Under Armour, or even now Kawhi Leonard? I think he does New Balance. Like, how do you view those type of deals as far as the way the sneakers constructed or the way the streets view them? Are people asking for Kawhi Leonard New Balances, or people asking for Steph Curry Under Armours?
There has been times where people have asked for the Kawhi Leonard, New Balance, Steph Curry's, the Under Armour. He had a pack, championship pack, or something like that. People ask, but that was, mainly due to hype and the resale value. And I applaud them for doing that because now it's bringing more competition and it's giving people more variety, more options to choose from as far as if they want to resell or just wear that shoe for comfort or style. Um, but I definitely, it's a good thing that they're doing. But that goes to the last question. Most of the shoes, if it wasn't for resale wise, people wouldn't ask for them.
Right.
So when I say there's no other athlete with a shoe signature shoe that'll come close to Jordan, is because if you take resale away, people still wear Jordans.
I hear you. I hear that. That makes sense. Is there a sneaker out there that you had a chance to get and you didn't get, and now you look back like, damn, I should have bought those?
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few out there that oh man, I want to hang myself every time. I'm like, wow, I really passed on the shoe. Not so long ago. The Bread 11s came out. They came out around holiday time last year,
Mhm.
and I had a bunch of pairs. I guess the Yeezy Yeez Rails. I might be saying it wrong, but the Yeezy Yeez Rail and the Bread 11s came out the same day. I think it was like December 14th. I don't know why I remember this, but December 14th, I think.
Mhm.
And I probably had about like 30 pairs combined. And I was just off of in-store raffles. That wasn't even, sneakers apps, Adidas apps, ordering online. And they were selling slowly. But fast forward to the track, I guess a foot action on 125th, and they had a pair sitting on the shelf one day, Bread 11s. And I went in there, picked them up. I'm like, wow, they have a pair. And I walked out. As I was walking out, I looked back and I was like, wow, I should grab that pair. I went back the next day and I said, that's gone. And that's one shoe I know I can remember that was recently, and I was even to this day because now after the Jordan documentary and COVID, which affected the prices greatly in a better beneficial way for resellers, those Bread 11s are almost no, not almost, they're like 500 now. So and I sit back and I'm like, why did I do that?
And not to make you dwell on a mistake, but how about the other side? Was there a pair of sneakers you saw and people like, nah, those ain't good, and you're like, you know what, I'm getting those, and it turned out you were right.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Even in my personal collection, it's just ones I have. I have a pair of one of my favorites I haven't worn yet. They're Nike Dunks Thomas Campbell's, aka What the Dunks. And not saying people wanted to pass on them, but I saw them. I love Dunks, so I saw them, and I'm like, oh wow, I gotta try my luck on the sneakers app. I'm gonna get them, find them one way or another. And I think they were $120. And I was happy, I'm like, yes, I got the shoe. I'm excited. And people are like, oh well, they only doing $250 at the time. I'm like, I don't care. I want it for myself to wear. And fast forward to track, they're like 2,500 now. I was like, yes. Thank
Can I ask you a question?
God.
Why does not, what's up with Jordan 2s? Like, remember they never came
Oh,
out, and then they dropped like 3 different colorways, and my sister bought 2. And I think the last one they did an ode to Spike Lee's film, Do the Right Thing.
the colorful. Those are on sale now. But
What
yeah.
happened? What's with Jordan 2s? Like, I mean, because I don't know.
Okay.
So
So I love Jordan 2s.
right?
Jordan 2, to me, the 2s and the 10s are one of the most comfortable Jordans.
Hmm.
But on the contrary, they have little to no resale. So it's like you really have to be, you know, at that age range where you just appreciate that shoe. For some reason they just don't resell. I have no idea why. Maybe the ones that might resell. I mean, okay, I have 10s now in storage, like the steel 10s. If it's a classic colorway, there's steel 10s, and there was the ones that was white, red with the gray, and a old powder blue ones, with the ice blue ones that came out. The older colorways from 2004, 2005, which I mentioned earlier, those have some resale now. But other than that, if it's a basic general 10, a general tool that's not the bread tools, the Chicago Bull tool colorway, or it just don't. I have a matter of fact, I have a pair. I'm looking at some of my shoes now. I have a pair of Mellow tools,
Mhm.
and Mellow is one of my favorite forwards, and I love that shoe, and I purchased it. It was on sale. I got it from StockX for like less than retail, and It may be around like 350 now, but that's a shoe that people just overlook it. I don't know why. I have no
And I
idea.
like that shoe. And I was like, okay, the next colorway I mean, because I didn't partake. My sister bought, I think, the black and the orange color, and then the white and the purple. And I was like, oh, okay, let me see when the next colorway comes out. I'll get it. And it never did. It never did. And I don't know what happened. Like, I keep waiting. And it's wild because, like, the first Jordan 3s I bought was this, I think last year, was the animal pack, like the kind of like pony hair.
That's the pair I want. I wanted that pair badly. The I have a 10.5 now,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm an 8.5. So I recently found them. I was in like Poconos and I found them at the mall. But that's the shoe too. When I was like, I want this shoe, people were like, are you serious? This shoe is ugly. I'm like, I don't know, it's something about it. I want the shoe. And the thing is, another thing to kind of like shed light on, a lot of shoes don't sell out because of the retail. So the retail for that shoe is $225, plus the New York City tax.
Right.
So you're looking at, 240 maybe, a little higher, I don't know. And so for that pair, I was like, I'm not paying $225.
It's true because when
Sh-
I bought it, it was on sale. And I was like,
See,
why are these
exactly.
Jordans on sale? It was on actually on sale. And I was like, my sister paid full price. And then I got them for like, I want to say like $50 less.
Yeah, see, yeah, I caught them for a steal at in the Nike outlet in the Poconos, and that was just in August. I was there.
That's
So,
amazing.
but yeah, 225. Yeah, that's the thing. Some people will say, "Oh, hey, most Jordans are 190." For 190, I'll purchase the shoe. For 225, no, it can sit on the shelf. And it's just some shoe that we know. Not that we have any insight, but we just know, okay, that's gonna go on sale in about another 2 weeks. So just wait, hold off on it, and then get it once it's on sale.
Right. That's exactly what I did. And I want to ask you too, like, Jay-Z was named like the head of Puma, like the creative director. And I know he's brought in stylist June Ambrose, who did a lot of styling for rappers from Bad Boy. What
Mhm.
do you think about like Jay-Z's efforts to revitalize the brand and then him bringing back classic silhouettes like Ralph Sampson's lows? Like I purchased a pair of Ralph Sampson lows and revamping some of the Clyde Fraziers because I think those were definitely classics. I mean, everybody goes for the Stan Smiths. I mean, I also have a pair of Stan Smiths from Adidas, but I also think like, those sneakers were also great colorways and silhouettes. What do you think about that?
Um, I like that. I like what Jay-Z is doing, but I don't know. I think this certain shoe brands is like, what it is.
It's never
It
gonna be.
is what it is. It's not gonna, because just you're so far. Like, okay, Puma has his own legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Stan Smith. I mean, not Stan Smith. Puma Clydes. I have a few. I love those shoes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I wear a shoe. If I like it, I'll wear it. It's not just Jordans, but
Right.
certain brands you just have to leave where they at. It design is key. If the design are not dope, people are not gonna mess with it. I'm pretty sure it will. Jay-Z, Jay-Z
Mm-hmm.
is pretty much he touches will, turn to gold.
Right. But it just depends.
So I think it will. It definitely will turn he'll definitely bring him, some money and just more. I don't want to say better reputation like that. Have a bad one, but he'll definitely bring some positive light to him.
From a personal perspective, what's like the next 2 or 3 sneakers that you're looking out for just for personal use, and then what's the next 2 or 3 sneakers you're looking out for resale reasons? It could be the same sneakers, but I'm just
Okay.
asking.
Well, yeah, I was just about to say it's probably going to be the same. Well, no, not really. Okay, so personal, I have them early already to come out. The 14th is the midnight ones, the Japan. So the silver ones came out a few months ago. So now
Oh, I
the
love the
midnight
silver
ones,
ones.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I have those early. So I would still count those for both personal and resale. The next one would be the black and gold retro ones, hot tops. They come out the 28th, I believe, or
Mm-hmm.
30th. Definitely for personal and resale. Now the last one for personal would be the Fire Red Fours,
Yes.
which comes out the 28th.
Yeah.
And I actually have them early, but it's not my size. And then on the resale wise, the last one would be the 11s that come out on the 12th because everyone loves 11s. That's like, the holiday shoe, and people go crazy for it. So definitely those are the ones.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Sean? Anything you looking forward to?
I agree with him with the fire red for fire red fours. I love those. I definitely like those Jordan retro ones, the silver, the Japans. Those I was trying. Those are one is the one I got up early in the morning, and my sister instructed me to have like several browsers open and already have my credit card loaded. And I sat
Mhm.
here like I had coffee and I blinked and it was sold out. So those are definitely ones, like yeah, I felt that pain. But I do like the black and gold. Those are definitely interesting. I like the patent leather feature of those sneakers. So I'm gonna try. We're
I
gonna see
hear you.
how that works. Kev, what about you?
No, I like it's funny. I wouldn't wear them, so I'd probably be the worst of both worlds because I would buy them not to wear them or not to resell them, just to have them. They got these Jordan 1, they're mids, but they're called homecomings because there's a story behind those. Because there's these two students, they had one, like I think a Jordan scholarship. They went to HBCUs and they helped design those. So I
Oh.
like those. And I actually like the those veneer ones I was telling you. The colorways is crazy to me. I just like them. Those
Hmm.
dunk lows, those
Oh.
come out the November 10th. They got, I don't know what
Yes, yes.
they're green, they're purple, and they're brown, but it's something about that. And once again, I don't think
Yeah.
I will rock those neither. I think I would just keep them and just have them. So that's the only two I could think of. I was thinking about the other ones that come out, them Jordan. I think they're Jordan 5s, like each shoe's a different color, but I'm never gonna rock that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, it would just be something to buy just to buy it, but I would never wear it.
Like keep it on
So
display in the house.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, but that's my two or three.
I like that. I like that. I've learned so much from you this episode. You are really a resource when it comes to sneakers. I'm so happy you
Thank
decided
you.
to
Thank
join
you.
Fashion Decipher and just really let
Well,
us
thank
know.
you for even, reaching out and inviting me on. So
Oh,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it, definitely.
You had your shop. I just want everybody to know you had your shop Lucky Lace in Williamsburg. That's Kevin's stopping ground. He's over there all the time. Um, and I know because of COVID, there's been some changes. Do you want to explain to the audience?
Yes, so right now I'm in the middle of relocating, and it's unfortunate, due to the situation, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And there was a lot of just I don't want to get too deep into it, but just certain things don't work out as far as relationships with the tenants and management, and you know the business is not ran properly. They just look at you as a dollar sign, which is, I get it, it's a business relationship, but have some compassion. A lot of people, and I wasn't the only one that moved from where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people moved. There's only about like two shops there now. So, I was management. They were really just no compassion or anything. And just, you still want the rent on time, even though you're closed, little things like that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. But, once this COVID situation is, under control, and, it's a sad thing, a lot of people lost their life and lost loved ones to them. So my heart goes out to the people.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's under control, I'm definitely jumping back in it. Shop in the area. I'm scouting some areas, looking at a few locations. But like I said, I don't want to take any risks because I know people that own restaurants and they rent 7,000 a month and they had to pay it on time. And I was just like, that's a scary situation. Scary, scary, scary. So luckily for me, my lease was it was up, so I could just walk away. It wasn't like I was entitled to pay anything still. So I kind of like lucked up. God was on my side, but
Mm-hmm.
I know people going through nightmares and literally just maxing out credit cards and just to stay afloat. And I don't want to jump back into that for that reason, for those
Right.
reasons. Definitely, I'm still online. I'm still on, social media. I'm still right now. I'm doing meetups and shipping and everything you can name up. I'm still doing. And once it's under control again, then I definitely will be at a new location. I'm thinking of Harlem since I'm from here. But we'll see.
Yeah, well, give the people your stuff, like your IG, everything, how they can reach you.
Definitely. The website is www.luckylaced.com. That's LUCKYLACED. The Instagram and Twitter is at Lucky Laced. Facebook is facebook.com/LuckyLaced. Snapchat, which I hardly use, is at Lucky Laced as well. I forgot it. It's even on my phone. But yeah, that's how you can reach me. Email is info@luckylaced.com or Ian@luckylaced.com if you want to speak directly to me.
Mm-hmm.
and definitely that's how you can reach me.
And Ian, can people DM you? Like, this is the last question I'll have because, in order to people contact you, like if they're trying to sell sneakers or if they have overage and they couldn't, unload them, could they DM you like an inquiry?
Oh, definitely. You can DM. I have people DM me every day, literally
Mm.
every day. So definitely, yeah. My inbox is open. You can DM me, shoot me an email. If you have to comment on the picture to get my attention and check my DM, then I'll definitely do that. That's good. That works for me. Everything goes. Just don't DM me at 4 in the morning and think I'm gonna respond.
Of course.
Probably not, but
Well,
definitely.
well, I'd like to say, Ian, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Like Sean said, we learned so much. For me, I'm just
Both of
happy to
us.
hear a brother got his business going and got his stuff going. Even though you had a little speed bump, you're gonna get on your way. You got your online stuff, you got your sneaker stuff going, and we look forward to speaking to you in the future and looking forward just to seeing all the good and great things you got in store for all of us.
Yeah, and in person, I definitely would like to buy a pair of sneakers from your shop when it's back up.
You think I appreciate it, and I thank you so much for having me on here. It was a blast. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And I wish you guys, success with the podcast as well.
Thank you. Really
Thank you so
appreciate it,
much.
Ian.
All right, take
All
care.
right.
Thank you.
Hi guys, it's Sean. Make sure you visit our website, fashiondecipher.com, to get a visual on what we're talking to you about. Check out pics from events, of guest speakers, and exhibits. If you miss anything we post, you can visit our archives page. Also, while you're there, hit that subscribe button, leave your email, and if you like, a comment. Tell us what you think or what you would want to hear on an upcoming episode. Don't forget to follow and friend Fashion Decipher on social media. Check out what we're up to. Speak with you next week.